Well, g'day again, and how are you today? I'm just giving you a long shot of the trees above me here, and this is what my whole yard is like. I'm surrounded by all of these very, very tall paperbarks. There's a couple of other Australian trees in here. Whoops, probably not a good shot of the sun there, but it's basically where I live. And I also live near a bit of a swamp caused by an overflow of a creek. And we had water right up to the edge here last year, or a month ago. And a lake was opened and the water was allowed to run out. Now you might notice that there's a fence here. We have deer. We have a lot of deer. We also have kangaroos. And both of them have loved my yard. And because of that, I built this wonderful fence around the whole acre. I've got multiple layers and I still have to strain some of it, but it's functioning, and that's the most important thing. But because I had this fence, I decided to give something else a go. And one of the things that I did was to try to stop the grass growing right up to the fence. And if I go down here, you'll notice I've taken the paper bark and put it on the ground and created a bit of a passageway, a walkway, an area I can mow up to, and I don't have to worry about the grass coming and annoying me. Now, what else did I do? Well, I decided to grow chocos, and this is what they looked like last year. Just coming through, surrounded by a wire fence on the outside of the wire fence so that the deer and the kangaroos couldn't come through to them. They were still coming into the yard, so a few times I lost bits and pieces. And then I had this idea that if I put chicken wire up behind the wire, I could stop them coming through, and therefore I could allow the chocos and other things to grow up the fence without being eaten. And that's one of the biggest things that I've tried to do here. Now, you'll notice here I have pumpkins growing. Now there's grey pumpkins and there's Kent pumpkins. There's supposed to be coming through at some stage some golden pumpkins and some Queensland blues. And I'm hoping eventually to have them producing on the wire and supported on the wire. Now some of them are just planted, so I've got multiple levels organised here. And here we have a few more chocos. Last year I had a few and it didn't quite work out because they died and 3 survived. I'm just looking at what the name of that particular plant is. Those pumpkins are. We have tomatoes. Sorry, I'm planting a tomato in there as well. So you'll be able to see tomatoes growing in amongst them. Now this is a 2-year-old choco vine. And I'll step back a little bit and you can see that at this time in November it has been growing very nicely. It's flowering. There are lots of flowers, female flowers on there. At this stage I haven't got too many male flowers, but I'll just get a little bit closer there. And there he is. Okay. And eventually I'll have this whole wall covered in choco vines. New pumpkin there, the choco vines, one has grown on this side. There's a watermelon coming through. I think if you go back that way, we had some honeydews and some rock melons, and the same up here, honeydew, rock melon. And in the middle of this bunch, there's also another one that I found last year being sold at Woolies and Coles, and it was the Piel de Sapo. And I really enjoyed the Piel de Sapo, so I decided to try to grow it from seed to see. I actually got one last year. I also got 1 rock melon and 1 honeydew. But this year I hope to do a lot better and have them at a decent size. But as you can see here, this choco vine, which is also a 2-year-old choco vine, is growing really well. And more pumpkins growing in the center there as I bring them up the wires. And that's some honeydew coming, no, that's the Piel de Sapo coming through, a new one that I've got growing. And some more pumpkins, So I'm showing you all this because I hope to have success with this year in this shaded area. You can see there's spots of sunlight come through, so it gets some of it, but it doesn't get everything I want. Now, I didn't want to plant into the ground here, mainly because I would just lose all of the energy of whatever I put in. So I decided to get styrofoam boxes, fill them with really good quality soil, load that up with manures, and off I went. And you can see that these results in November are starting to pay dividends. The chocos are loving the cow's manure that I've thrown around them, and as I've improved the soil and built it up more so that it held more of the moisture, by putting my grass clippings on, everything seems to be doing really well at this particular time. Anyway, I'm going to let it go at this stage. I'm just going to give you a peek view of my veggie garden down there, which I built this year, and a lot of stuff growing in there, and I'll come back to that a little bit later on. But you'll be able to enjoy some of the things that I've been doing here in my garden, and as I swing around nice and gentle, you'll see how it all plays out and what I'm doing and how I've done it in the past. Oh, over there are 8 varieties of pumpkins and melons growing close up to the fence, and I'll show you that later and tell you why I did it that way. But anyway, I'll see you later. Remember to subscribe if you're enjoying these so that you can keep an eye on what I'm doing, and I'll be willing to talk to anybody and laugh about some of the silly things that I end up doing. I consider that this is a crazy idea, but it's based on a concept of hydroponics, where I can fertilize in a concentrated area and push these plants without them being disturbed or without being wasteful with all the fertilizers that I've got. Anyway, I'll see you all later. Enjoy your day. Bye for now.